We hit QPR for 4, Luton for 5, and now we've hit Oxford for 6. This Boro team, it's on absolute fire. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Project Boro, and my God, I cannot believe what I am witnessing. I cannot believe the form I'm seeing from this Boro team, but in a way, I kind of can, because Boro at the moment are just devastating. Another absolutely devastating performance by Boro, who managed to one-up QPR, put 5 past Luton, managed to one-up it again, went to Oxford, a team who'd only lost once at home all season. They'd only conceded 5 goals all season at home up until this point, and in this one game, they conceded 6. Boro were just absolutely ruthless, deadly, just ridiculous at times. Honestly, the football we were playing at times, with the chances we were putting away, once again, it's real relief to see that the international break, which we said 2 weeks ago, come at the worst time, because it was almost like we were just getting going, and it's going to disrupt the form, the flow, the consistency of some of the players. They're going to go away with internationals. We might get injuries, which we have done. So, you're coming back, and I discussed in my preview of this game, I discussed it last week when me and Chris had a good sit down for an hour and chatted all things Boro, how big this game was, just to not get back on the horse, but make sure we hadn't fallen off it. And in the past, an away game to a newly promoted side, in horrible conditions, it just screams 1-0 Oxford United. We've seen Boro go to Rotherham and it happened. We went to Preston last season, had a similar game. Derby earlier on this season, but not only have we picked up from where we left off, we've arguably gone up again, another gear. It's 15 goals in 3 games. 15! And we are now outright by a mile the top goal scorers in the Championship. And when I said earlier, I'm not surprised as well, the reason is because all season we've said Boro creates so many chances, but they were just not putting them away. And we've always known the ceiling of this team is so incredibly high. The potential of it, when it quote-unquote clicks, could be massive. And I was always getting tired and just getting a bit annoyed by the constant when it clicks. But I will hold my hands up and say, now it has clicked. What this Boro team has done to Luton, QPR and Oxford has been nothing short of absolutely ridiculous. And again, I know they might be teams towards the bottom end of the league, but we've gone to a stadium here where they've been immense from the start of the season. So to go there and put 6 past them, and it could have been more, absolutely incredible performance by the Boro. It fires us into the playoffs, and suddenly we're looking up. And we've maintained the momentum from before the international break with changes. With a changed team here once again. Bit of a couple of injuries, a couple of players who didn't start, who you could say would be in our strongest 11, and now we've got 2 home games coming up and a run of fixtures where you look at them and you lick your lips as a Boro fan, really, and you go, you know what? Who can touch us when we're in this form? Who genuinely can when we're scoring as many goals as we are? It's the result of what we hoped would be the potential. We knew this was in Boro, but it was a case of, would we ever see it? And if we saw it, would it be a flash in a pan? In the odd game, we'd score a few and then regress back to where we were. But we've backed it up 3 games running. We've got players who are absolutely on fire and in the best form of their Boro careers, and it's just fantastic to see. So I'm gonna warn you guys now. This is just going to be me gushing over Boro for the majority of this video. So I hope that's okay with you. But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Boro. Now, first of all, I'm just going to chat about the lineup, because as we expected, there were changes in this Boro team, and some were expected, some weren't. One that was unexpected was in goal. Solbrin come in for Seni Dieng, who was ill. Happy birthday, by the way, to Seni. Glad you've got a cold for your birthday. Talk about Solbrin in a minute when we get to the Boro players. Back four was exactly as I thought it would be, with Borges coming back in at left back. We expected Howson and Barlasser to be in the midfield pairing, and I also thought Doak and Azaz would start and it would be maybe McGree, if not him, Bergzorg on the left with Lath up front. So I was near enough bang on with my 11, but still, you know, Lath starting over Conway, what's going to happen there? McGree's on the bench again, what's going to happen there? 2 new centre midfielders, what's going to happen there? But it was, again, another starting 11 and another decision from Michael Carrick that proved to be perfect. But as I say, it didn't start all that well because Boro were 1-0 down after only 24 minutes. And to be fair, there was a little bit of, not deja vu, but, you know, we've seen this script before a little bit leading up to Oxford's goal. Boro were the better team. You know, Oxford had a few flashes here and there, but it was mostly Boro possession, camped in Oxford's half. We had a few half chances. You know, Lath had I think he had one on his left foot in the box when he turned and he hit it sort of straight at the goalkeeper. There was another one that was well worked from the left-hand side. I think we counter-attacked on them down the left, flicked onto him near post. The goalkeeper made a great save. And, you know, you're starting to think back to them earlier days in the season where chances come and go and you're thinking, oh, God. And at the other end, what goes and happens? The opposition pretty much take their first chance. And it was always going to come from a set piece. You know, Oxford, as I mentioned in the preview, they're not the biggest of creative sides. They don't put many accurate crosses into the box, but they still find a way. And set pieces were probably going to be their biggest, or one of their biggest avenues of getting in front. And it was a poor goal to concede from a Boro point of view. And we were under a bit of pressure briefly at this moment in time. You know, Solbrin made a brilliant save, tipping one over the bar. I think it was going to go over anyway, but tipped it over the bar, conceded the corner. And Boro lose first contact at the back post. A little bit of a mess, if I'm honest. Sort of 3 Boro players sort of falling backwards, scrambling to try and, you know, get anywhere near the marker. Can't recall who it was who cut it back, but Lee was in a lot of space, considering he was in Boro's box, and he puts it behind Solbrin, and it's 1-0, and you're thinking, oh no, here we go. We've seen this one before, an away defeat to a team who are newly promoted just when Boro are in the midst of pushing and kicking on, but we did not allow that to happen. Typical Boro stayed at home on this occasion because we did what we've done recently and what we did so often, especially in the playoff season. When Boro are on it, we can equally have a cataclysmic, chaotic 10 minutes at one end and concede 2 or 3. We've seen that happen, but more often than that, we can have periods where we score 3, 4 in a matter of 10, 15 minutes. And we did it in the playoff season so effectively, and we've not seen it at Boro since until now, where a team can just bang, 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 and the game's taken away from the opposition. That's exactly what Boro did between the end of the first half and at the start of the second as well. The first equaliser was via the penalty spot, and I'm going to be brutally honest, this challenge was one of them where you sort of sit back a bit when you see it. You kind of go, oh, it makes you grimace a little bit. It was a really, really bad challenge on Ben Doak, and I mean, I saw some Oxford fans on Twitter saying it wasn't even a penalty. I don't know what planet they're on. It was a terrible tackle from Moore. I mean, it's as hard of a yellow as you can get, but I mean, I'm not going to complain too much that it wasn't a red because it didn't have an effect on the result in the end. But I've seen them given as reds. You know, it's a unbelievably strong tackle. He goes right over the ball, wipes Ben Doak out to the point to which he changes direction and flies towards the, you know, behind the goal, and was in a lot of pain, understandably. So thankfully for us, he was okay to carry on, but it was undoubtedly a penalty. Maybe a little lucky to not be a red, but Lath puts it away and continues his fine form. The first of an Emmanuel Lath hat-trick. Oh yes, he's back, well and truly. Only 5 minutes later, Boro put themselves in front, and it's via another man who is in unbelievable form right now. We were gushing over him in the Luton game before the international break, and he's just picked up from where he left off. And I've said, you know, creatively, Azaz, he's done more than well enough this season creatively because he's been putting chances on a plate for the forwards who haven't been taking them, but now they are, so his assist numbers are going up. But the one thing I was still asking more of from Azaz was goals, but oh boy, has he added them to his game. Azaz gets the ball. I think it was Emmanuel Lath who played it across from the left-hand side. Azaz, just as he often does, he's so good at just getting his body set to give himself that time and space, and he plays a beautiful sort of pass, low ball into the far corner. Arguably, the goalkeeper could have done better. He got something on it, but I don't know if he was expecting Azaz to place it low into the corner as he did, the ball skidding across the surface, of course, and Boro turned the game around in a matter of minutes. But we were not done there. Boro won the ball high up the pitch, great pressing down the right-hand side. I think Bergzorg nips then in front after one of their centre-backs plays a bit of misplaced pass. It falls to Azaz, and Emmanuel Lath, as you'd want him, is on the shoulder of the centre-back. There were huge appeals for offside, but when you look at the replays, you'll see that the furthest defender right, whether it's a right-back or a centre-back, who is to the left of Lath as he's facing goal, was just playing him onside. It's a brilliant ball slid through from Azaz. Lath onside, great timed run. He puts it beautifully into the corner, and within 8 minutes, Boro have been 1-0 down, going in half-time 3-1. An outstanding response, but we weren't done there, because straight away, when we come out second half, you're thinking, okay, if Oxford can get an early goal, 3-2, we saw this at Norwich. We still have, and I still have Norwich PTSD, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You still just think with Boro, the game is not quite done. So what's the best way of ensuring that things aren't going to go pear-shaped? It's getting another goal straight away, and that's exactly what we did in the 49th minute. Azaz, once again, he is the man at the centre of it all, and a bit like the goal against Luton, where he played that chipped ball over the top to Lath, who of course turned, sent Mengi into the River Tees and slid it nicely past Kaminski. This was similar in the fact that once again Azaz sees the one of Lath. He can't just play it through to him on the floor, he can also drift it over the top as well. Plays a lovely dink ball over to Lath, again on the shoulder, running in behind. You just can't defend him when he's in this form, and he caresses it with his weaker foot into the goal, and Lath has a hat-trick in a matter of 13, 14 in-game minutes. And Lath, a player who we were worried about at the start of the season, he is back well and truly. And I saw a stat from the legend that is Dom Shaw from the Northern Echo. I believe this stayed true until full-time. Lath is now the third highest goal scorer in the Championship. And this was a player who went 9 games without a goal. He went 2 months without a goal, and yet he's third highest in the goal-scoring charts. And that's just because of the fantastic run that he's on. I don't quite know how many goals it is and how many games, but Lath is back to his best, and that is just so good to see. You know, we can't lie and say we weren't worried after the deadline day drama with Ipswich and the effect that had on him and his confidence, you know, in the games that followed. But I said this on the Boro Breakdown. I think I said this when I spoke to Chris on the channel last week. Carrick deserves so much credit for his management of Lath, because he took him out of the team at the perfect time. He was able to come off the bench and make an impact, which got his confidence back up, and now he's back just scoring goals left, right and centre. So 4-1 within 50 minutes, but things then got a tad nervy because Oxford did get a goal back on the 72nd minute. And it was a player who, as I said in my preview of this game, I thought they should have started Dane Scarlett. He is Oxford's best player in terms of goals per 90 this season. He's been on a great run of goal-scoring form himself. He wasn't starting here. He was benched in place of Mark Harris, and there's no surprise to me, having seen this guy's recent form. He was played in by Tyler Goodrum. He's squared up by Matt Clark, and he absolutely fires a ball beautifully past Sol Bryn to make it 4-2. And then you're looking at it and going, oh, okay, 15 minutes to go, or just over, maybe 20 minutes if you had stoppage time. And now the gap's down to 2. Now, in any given situation with any other club, you probably happily put your feet up. But, as I say, Norwich PTSD over here. So I started getting a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. And, you know, the thought of an Oxford third from absolutely nothing then puts us bang under it for the final 15 minutes. So, again, I think we had something similar at QPR when it went 2-1 and there was still, you know, a big chunk of the second half left. How do Boro respond? Well, we just keep scoring goals. We did it at Loftus Road. We did it again here. And on the 80th minute, Tommy Conway got himself a goal. And you can just tell he's desperate to get himself on the score sheet. You know, he's sort of somehow, despite being in brilliant form, you know, he's had that starting position wrestled away from him by Lath, who, as I say, you just can't not play him in this form. So it's so harsh on Tommy Conway, but it's so good for Boro to have 2 strikers who you can rely on equally at the moment, who whether they're starting, whether they're coming off the bench, they're still scoring goals, and Tommy Conway did exactly that. He gets the ball off Riley McGree. I think, again, Boro won it high up the pitch. Conway cuts in on his right, takes a touch, waits for the right moment, and he fires it beautifully back across into the corner. A fantastic finish from Tommy Conway, but we were still not done, because the 6th goal came in the 83rd minute, and again, like he did against Luton, Azaz has the final say and caps off another truly mesmerising performance by Boro's, not number 10, but in position-wise, our number 10. He picks the ball up on the edge of the area. I think we might have won it high up the pitch. I think, no, it was a cross, that come in that was badly cleared by, it might have been Lee who scored their goal in the first half. Azaz picks it up, and he exquisitely bends it into the right-hand corner and picks up his 2nd goal of the game, his 3rd in 2. I mean, I don't know how many assists the guy's got, but right now, Azaz is just running games. He's just on absolute fire, creating, he's scoring, and Boro have just got players in the attacking areas who are on flames right now. It's incredible to see, and Boro capped off a brilliant trip, and what I will say, a tough trip. You know, the Boro fans had such a torrid trip down there with the weather, with the conditions. I know a lot of them struggled to get down there. Buses broke down. They had to pay for expensive extortionate Ubers, some of them. So fair play to the Boro fans for travelling down to Oxford, and what a reward for all the travelling Boro fans. So yeah, outstanding performance by Boro. There were some other brilliant moments in there, and I'll get to them when I talk about individuals, but the stats, once again, show brilliant reading for Boro. And to be fair, Oxford did relatively well too. I can see why they pick up results at home. You know, and although their XG was quite low, they still had 11 shots and still had 7 on target. So I think, you know, from their point of view, they've just come up against a team who are just on a different planet right now in terms of goal scoring form. So I think Des Buckingham's message to Oxford will just be, listen, this isn't the team, this isn't the game that's going to define our season. We're not going to be competing with Middlesbrough this season for playoffs or whatever it is, so brush this one aside, move on. I still think, you know, they weren't bad, Oxford. They were just beaten by a team who were just unbelievably clinical, but they still did well, I think. But you look at the stats, Boro dominated possession 64%, our XG once again right up there, 2.89, yet we still overperformed it by an absolute mile. 16 shots, 12 on target, 6 of them went in, so that's 50% of our shots on target went into the back of the net. And I always say this, and I'm going to pat myself on the back here, because I know there's a lot of people who aren't fans of XG and data, and I get it, I totally get it, but listen, I'm a believer in data, and I'm always a believer that it levels out eventually, whether it's XG, the number of goals you're expected to score, the number of goals you're expected to concede, and the expected points. Everything has Boro performing unbelievably well. But in reality, the numbers aren't reflecting that. But they are starting to, because Boro have underperformed their XG massively this season. And even when we were scoring goals by a mile, you know, we were still nowhere near scoring the number of expected goals that we should have. But we've caught right up to it. Do you remember a couple of weeks back when our XG was like 26 and we'd scored 18 or something? And you're thinking, my God, we should have had 8 more goals. Well, we've caught up with that and some, because our XG is 30.9 and we've scored 29 goals. So all them wasteful chances that went begging at the start of the season, you can kind of brush off now, because Boro have now got the goals that we've warranted, and we're now by far the top goal scorers in the league. 29 goals now. It's ridiculous from Boro. But let's talk about some of the players then, because some of the performances out there were absolutely outstanding, and I want to start with Solbrin in goal, because he of course come in for Senny Dieng, and you know, it's a big opportunity. How many times do, you know, goalkeepers get that chance to potentially break into the team? It's probably the hardest position in the starting 11 to break into, but Solbrin did unbelievably well. Now I don't know if they'll appear in the highlights because there was so many goals, but he made some exceptional saves at times in this game. The one big moment, and he made some good comfortable saves early doors, but at 2-1, when Boro were leading 2-1, Harris was played in behind, and I don't think he was offside, But even if he was, he tries to go around Sol Brynn, and he pretty much gets past him, but Sol sticks an arm out, and, if he times it wrong, it's a penalty, it's a red card. If he just misses it, it's a tap-in for Mark Harris, and he's gone round him, but he gets the most crucial hand to the ball, and if Mark Harris was onside, that's as good as a goal line save. It's a fantastic hand at 2-1, and then Boro go down the other end, and Azaz scores to make it 3 at the other end, or Lath, whoever it was. It's a pivotal moment. It could have quite easily levelled the game at that point. So that was a big moment for Sol Brynn, and I want to highlight that. He also made a fantastic save second half. I can't recall who it was, who might have been Rodriguez or Goodrum, who had a shot that he tipped well wide or flicked off the bar, and that might have put them within a goal, I think. So Sol Brynn deserves immense credit, and I'm going to say it. I think he's gave Michael Carrick food for thought, and I don't think he's going to displace Seny Dieng off of just one performance. I don't think that's fair. But what I will say is Seny Dieng will have to ensure that he's bulletproof over the next couple of games, because I don't think it'll take much for Sol Brynn to step in now. So Seny's got to maintain good standards, which he was doing prior, to be fair to him. But Sol Brynn, he's gave Michael Carrick some food for thought there. Defensively, I thought they were pretty good across the park. I know we conceded, and I'd say the initial goal from a corner was the more disappointing one, to be fair. But the defence was solid enough, defending their box quite well against some real direct play by Oxford at times. The midfield too, I think, did well enough. I thought Barlasser did really well. I thought he was definitely more effective in terms of the game and Boro's attacking play. I think he started off misplacing a few passes, but once Barlasser got into the game, I thought he fitted in perfectly, to be honest, and played some really good balls forward at times, retained possession, was really good in tight spaces, exactly what you want from him. Howson was okay. I think he did the hard yards, he did the dirty job, the scruffy side of the game that maybe people don't realise, interceptions, clearances. He's not as good on the ball, he just isn't, but that's not his place in the team. He was solid enough in that midfield, and then where'd you go with the attack? Outstanding once again. Bergzorg was in and out the game, but I think when he was in the game, he was very, very dangerous down that left-hand side, very, very effective. And again, away games like this where teams are pushing forward seem to suit him, so I was delighted for Bergzorg to have another really good game. Ben Doak, to be fair, had a quiet one, but if Ben Doak's having a quiet one and Boro still score 6, that's a compliment to the Boro team, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want to be over-reliant on Ben Doak, and I think that allowed us to take him off early, maintain that he's fresh, and that can only be a positive. But of course, he did win the penalty that got us level and did get absolutely destroyed with that challenge, and thankfully he's alright. But the 2-star players have got to be the two up front. Azaz and Lath both getting 9.7s on FootMob. Lath with 1 assist and a hat-trick, Azaz with 2 goals and 2 assists. They were both a different class today. Absolutely amazing from the pair of them. They're both on fire. Finn Azaz especially is proving everyone why he's such a great signing, and there's been a lot of Finn Azaz skeptics, and I really hope now they've surely got to be coming around to how great and how gifted and how technically gifted and just how great of a player, how intelligent of a player Finn Azaz is. He is absolutely amazing, and Lath is back banging goals, and it's perfect. The perfect day, really. And we also got Force coming on for half an hour, which was fantastic to see Marcus Force come on and get a good half an hour under his belt. Conway, of course, come on, got a hat-trick. McGree come on and got an assist. What a surprise there. That's what McGree does. Dykesdale and Hamilton come on as well. So, yeah, an outstanding day. Finally, we can say for sure that Boro are in the playoffs. We're finally in the playoffs this season comfortably. We're in 5th now. Scoring goals for fun. The goal difference has took a real positive bump as well compared to a few weeks ago, and 5 points off second now, which, is within sight, you would say. So that's a real positive for us. Into the playoffs comfortably, a 3-point cushion to 8th. Let's hope we can start looking up now and really look ahead to catching some of the teams above us in the top 4. But a brilliant, brilliant performance. Brilliant goals, fantastic, mesmerising stuff from Boro. I was genuinely in awe by us at times in that second half. It's the first time Boro have scored 6, I think, since 1960. And I don't think we've had a goal-scoring run like this since the 40s or something. You could say this Boro team is breaking records at this moment in time. And, I mean, look at that. you know, the blank against Coventry was tough because we had 10 men. 3 goals against Norwich, which should have been a win. That was when we started to see signs that this was coming. 4 against QPR, 5 against Luton, 6 against Oxford. Hey, let's go for 7 against Blackburn in midweek. But talking of that game, I will be back between now and then to preview the Blackburn game on Wednesday. Likely that video will probably go up on Monday, so keep your eyes out for the preview of that one. And I will be, of course, doing all my other usual content here on the channel, rounding up the Championship fixtures on either Sunday night or Monday, maybe Tuesday, we'll see, and we'll see how quickly we can get everything turned around before the midweek games start. But Boro now have 2 home games ahead of them in blistering form, targeting the top 2. If we can pick up another 2 fantastic home wins between now, who knows where we might be at the end of the upcoming weekend. It is exciting. Is this Boro team finally clicking? Let's hope so. Brilliant stuff. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, whether you're a Boro fan, Oxford fan, or a neutral. As I say, like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, hit the bell too so you never miss when a video drops. And of course, if you are listening to this over on the podcast providers, which you can do via links in the description, give me a like, a rating, and a follow over on your chosen podcast provider. But until next time, guys, the Boro are on fire. We are scoring goals for fun. Have we clicked? I think so. Let's keep it up against Blackburn on Wednesday. I'll see you guys then.